Welcome back to my second video updating the progress on my layout. Won't do a full tour this time, but highlight the areas that I've made some progress on. So this view might be familiar to those who saw the first video, but what I've done is completed the bench work, at least for the upper staging yard. So as you can tell, it's not that far to get vertical clearance, which is why I had to drop the staging yard up here 3 inches below the scenic portion of the upper level of the layout. So this runs the full length of what I've got framed on the other side. And in addition to working and serving as East Salamanca, New York, it will also serve as the Clearfield branch, which I think I showed on the tour, diverges from the main line at C&M Junction. So it's a 2.5% grade to get down to the staging yard, and hopefully, if I calculated it right, it'll return back to grade right around the area of the staging yard throat. So I'll still be able to use the staging yard to make up trains in between operating sessions for the Clearfield branch. But I think my intent, not quite sure yet, is I'll probably start with a train kind of set up like this with the caboose at the bottom of the ramp, and the train will run in to the main layout, go to Riker Yard, drop a cut of cars, pick up another cut of cars, and do a turn and run back in, and then the power will end up at the bottom of the ramp, as we've shown here. So we'll look at that a little bit more on the other side of the layout, but in addition to that, I was able to add in the lighting for the lower staging yard. So we're all illuminated back here, which is nice. It's always helpful. I also realized I failed to mention on the first video, I had made a reference to how the Penn Central track, which is here, and Chessie System is mainline here, how they're basically coming to the same staging yard and they get very close to one another. And I made a reference in the last video about how I tried to make them appear to diverge on the other side, and I failed to highlight that. So we can walk back over here. So again, here is Penn, or West Penn Crossing. This area here will probably be a tower that I'll have to construct. So you can see the Pennsylvania boxcar is sitting on the interchange track, or which ultimately becomes the Penn Central line. So as you kind of work on the scenic layout, they do kind of separate from one another, and the Penn Central one kind of is supposed to disappear off into the woods, which I think will be further enhanced by the fact that we've got this upper bench work that will ultimately extend off to the left over to the furnace. So once that's extended, I think that'll really shield your view. And I think it'll help strengthen the illusion of the Penn Central line going in a different direction. So I've also gotten some additional backdrop up, so you can't see directly into the ductwork and the staging. And if we come in this direction, you can see I've got a couple locomotives sitting on the Clearfield branch, and here is Clearfield Junction, I'm sorry, C&M Junction, where it meets the main line. What I did is actually just cut the hardy board at the top, but left it connected, and I wrapped it around the framing a pretty good distance. So even if you kind of lean over and try and cheat, you can't get in to see, and I'll paint that accordingly. Again, there'll be a pagoda-style tower that I'm custom scratch building for this location, and in addition to maybe adding a little bit more hardy board here, the tower hopefully will help screen that change of scenery, and obviously put some foam or something to do the landscaping in between there too. So that is some of the progress I've made recently. I also added some more 2 strips of LEDs to still getting some shadow on the backdrop, but if you look at the first video, considerably more properly illuminated here on this arc running from Riker Yard up into the C&M Junction area. So pretty unlikely that we'd have a GP35 and a GP30 on the Clearfield branch. Typically that was run probably by GP9s or even F units or SD7s, SD9s, but that's what I had nearby, so we'll run these guys out. As I mentioned, it's a very short distance onto the main, and not too far to get to Riker, but just running a turn out of the Clearfield branch into Riker and then back, just add some additional traffic and operating interest. So that's the idea, and without having to create much of a different staging yard, because I'm really making it serve double duty as a branch staging yard and a northern all points north staging yard. So, in addition to that, at this point in time, which we're modeling 1974, the Erie-Lackawanna, prior to Conrail in 76, Erie-Lackawanna had trackage rights down to Du Bois, so I'll also be able to use this upper staging yard for Erie-Lackawanna trains as well. Needed some excuse somehow to get a non-EMD product into the mix, so I've got an Alco C425 in Erie-Lackawanna paint that will ultimately get a decoder. D&O was very EMD heavy, which I certainly enjoy, but nice to have a variety. So just a brief update for now, and hopefully as I make some additional progress, I will post some more videos. Thanks for watching.